Ladies. And speed it up. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All the ladies loud. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. It's from Canto 1, Chapter 7, and text 51 and 52. This is a recording of a lecture given by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada in 1976 in Vrindavan. I request that you kick up your volume for the listening devices so that you can hear better. Sometimes these recording volumes are low. Without further ado, we'll start now. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Tatra Marshito Bhimas Tasya Srayan Vada Smrita Nabhartu Natmanas Kate Yohan Suktan Shishun Rita Nisamya Dima Garitam Draupadyas Chaturbuja Alokya Vadanam Satyur Idamaha Asaniva
Tatraha Marshito Bhimas
Tasya Shreyan Vadaksmita Navartornatmanaschate Yohan Suktan Shishunrita Nishamya Bhima Gaditam
Draupadyascha Chaturbhuja
Draupadyascha Chaturbhuja
Alokya Vadanam Sakyo
Alokya Vadanam Sakyo
Idamaha Hasanniva
Idamaha Sanniva
Traha Marshito Bhima
Tatraha Shito Bhima
Tasya Shreyan Vadhasmita
Tasyam Swayan Vadasmita
Bharto Nadmanashchate
Nabato Natmanaschate
Yohan Suptan Shishun Vrita
Yohan Suktan Shishun Rita
Shamya Bhima Gaditam
Nisamya Bhima Gaditam
Draupadyascha Chaturbhuja
Draupadyascha Chaturbhuja
Alokya Vadanam Sakyo
Alokya Vadanam Sakyo
Idamaha Hasanniva
Idamaha Sanniva Tatra Thereupon said
Amarashitaha
Amarshitaha
in an angry mood Bhimaha
Bhima
Tasya
his
Shreyan ultimate good Vadaha killing
Smritaha
recorded
Na
not
Bharatu
of the master
of the master Na nor Atmana
of his own self
Cha and Arte
for the sake of
Yaha
one who
Ahan killed Suptan sleeping Shishun children Rita without purpose.
Translation. Bhima, however, disagreed with them and recommended killing this culprit, who in an angry mood had murdered sleeping children for no purpose, and for neither his nor his master's interest. Nishamya, just after hearing, Bhima,
Gaditam,
spoken by,
Draupadyas
of
Draupadi,
Cha,
and
Chaturbhujaha,
four-handed,
personality of Godhead. Alokya, having seen, Vadanam, the face,
Sakyo
of his friend,
Idam, this, Aha, said, Hasan, smiling, Eva, as if.
Translation. Chaturbhuja, the four-armed one, or the personality of Godhead, after hearing the words of Bhima, Draupadi and others, saw the face of his dear friend Arjuna, and he began to speak as if smiling.
Nishamma Bhima Gaditam Draupadyascha Chaturbhuja Alekya Vadanam Sakku Lidamaha Hasanniva. So, in the previous verse, it is described Bhagavan Devaki Sutta. Bhagavan Krishna Devaki Sutta, still people may doubt that Krishna, being Devaki Sutta, how he can become the Supreme Personality of God. Because sometimes very powerful person is also called Bhagavan. So, such persons have very confidence in Vishnu. Vishnu is Chaturbhuja. Therefore, here in this verse, Krishna is confirmed to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead by adding this word Chaturbuja. Don't doubt, because Krishna has appeared with two hands, that does not mean he is not Bhagavan, he is Chaturbuja. To confirm it. Actually, sometimes it is said that Krishna is the incarnation of Vishnu. But actually, Vishnu is incarnation of Krishna. Aham adihi devana, that is said in the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu also one of the devas, first principle devas, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar. Brahma, Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva. Gunavata. Vishnu expanding himself in three avatars. Satagun, he takes charge himself. Satagun. Rajagun, it is given to Brahma in charge. And Tamagun is given to the Lord Shiva. Sisti, Sthiti, Pralaya. Sisti, creation, is done by Brahma, Rajagun. And Sthiti, maintenance, is done by Vishnu. And destruction is done by Lord Shiva, Tamagun. He is not Tamagun, in charge of Tamagun. Just like somebody becomes superintendent of jail, it does not mean that the superintendent is also one of the prisoners. No. He is in charge of the jail department. Similarly, Lord Shiva, he is not in Tamagun, he is transcendental. He is almost Vishnu. He is neither ordinary human being. Lord Shiva is in between Vishnu Tattva and Jiva Tattva. How he can be in the Tamagun? Nobody is, they are all transcendental, especially Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu has nothing to do with these material affairs. As a big man, a rich man has nothing to do personally, but he gets things done by his assistant, by his servant. It is like that. In the Vedas also, Upanishad, it is said, Natasya kajyam karanancha vidyati. Lord Vishnu has nothing to do personally. Natasya kajyam karanancha vidyati, natasya sama udhikascha dishyati. Nobody is equal to him, neither nobody is greater than. Everyone is below. Therefore, Vishnu Tattva is asama urdha. Nobody is equal, nobody is higher. To consider equal to Vishnu Tattva is aparadh, offense. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has warned this offense very strictly. Prakita koriya mane Vishnu kale var, aparadh nahi ar iha rupa. If somebody thinks Vishnu as one of the product of this material world, Prakita. Prakita boliya mane Vishnu kale var, aparadh nahi ar iha rupa. Mayavadi philosophers, they adduce that Vishnu's body is, Vishnu comes, appears he accepts a material body that is condemned by Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita. Avajananti manga murha manasim tanumas. He does not accept any material body. Tadatmanam sijamaham atmamayaya sambhavami atmamayaya. That is material hell, atmamaya, this Shakti. So, Krishna, there is no difference between Krishna's soul and Krishna's body. Just like we have God. We are different from this body. And Krishna is not different from the body. He does not change his body. Although he assumes several avatars, but he does not change his body. Advaita, Achyuta, not different from the original personification, identification. Advaita, Achyuta, Anadi, Anantarupam. Although he assumes in so many varieties of Vishnu Tattva, still Advaita, Achyuti, Anadi, Anantarup, Adyam, Purana Purusham, Namajovanam. Therefore, Vishnu Tattva is never looks like old man. Navajovan, always young. Krishna, always young. Navajovan. So, in order to confirm Krishna's position, here it is not Devaki Sutta, because one may doubt that Devaki Sutta is ordinary human being or living being. No. Here it is said Chaturbhuja. Here it is said Bhagavan. Here it is said Chaturbhuja. So we should always remember that Krishna is the supreme being. And Krishna says, Matta parataram nanya. Don't think that above Krishna there is any other higher authority, either Brahma or Paramatma or Vishnu. So many absolute truth is manifested in so many features, but Krishna is the original. Krishna su Bhagavan Swayam. Iti Changsakala Pungsha. Krishna su Bhagavan Swayam. It is summarized in the Srimad Bhagavatam that there are so many descriptions of the incarnation of Vishnu, but at the end, Vasudev concludes that whatever incarnations are described here, they are Angsha Kala. Angsha means direct expansion and Kala means expansion of the expansion. Just like Krishna, the first expansion is Baladev. The next expansion is Sankarshan, Vasudeva, Anuruddha, Pradyumna. The next expansion is Narayan. The next expansion again, second Chaturbhuja, Sankarshan again, Ditiya Chaturbhuja. And the next expansion, Vishnu, Mahavishnu. Next expansion, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. The next expansion is Kirodakshayi Vishnu. In this way, there are different expansions, but Krishna su Bhagavan Adyam Purusham Sasvatam. Krishna is the original. Therefore Krishna says, Matta Paratanam Nana. I am not expansion of it. Sarva Karana Karana. Ishara Parama Krishna. They are all Isharas, controller. Vishnu Tattva is controller, always. Mayadhaksena Prakriti Suyati Sacharachanam. Everywhere, Vishnu is the supreme controller. So, every Vishnu Tattva is controller. There is no doubt. And they have got equal power. Not that Lord Ramchandra is less powerful than Krishna. No. They have equal power. The example is described in the Brahma Samhita. Deepachiriva dasantaram abhupit. Just like one candle. You ignite another candle. You ignite another. But all these candles, they are equally powerful. Although you can say this is first candle, this is second candle, this is third candle. Similarly, Vishnu Tattva, everyone is equally powerful. Although Krishna is first, Balaram is second, Sankarshan is third, like that. But they do not think they are less powerful. No. Vishnu Tattva means they are equally powerful. Shankshu. Ramadi murtishu kala niyamaina tishthan. Kala. Rama is expansion of Vishnu, but it is not that Rama is less powerful than Krishna. Nobody is less powerful. Ramadi murtishu kala niyamaina tishthan. Nana avataram akarat bhuvaneshu kintu. There are so many avatars. Krishna sayam samabhavat paramapumana. But Krishna is the paramapuma, the supreme being, the supreme person. And Krishna through Bhagavan sayam. Everywhere. Ishara parama Krishna. Satchidananda vigraha. Matta paratanam nanya. This is the conclusion of the Shastra. So don't consider that Krishna, because he has come, appeared in Vrindavan like a cowherd boy, never think, of course the Vrindavan-Vasi, they do not know what is Krishna. They are villagers. They do not know. But they do not love anyone more than Krishna. That is their qualification. They do not know even Vishnu. When the gopis saw Vishnu Murti, Krishna assumed the Vishnu Murti, they are passing, and they said, oh, here is Vishnu, all right, namaskar. They are not interested even in Vishnu. They are interested in Krishna, although they do not know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, if without knowing what is Krishna, if you simply become attached to Krishna, then your life is successful. Simple, somehow or other, you become attached to Maya Saktamana Prartha, Jogam Janjanam Bhagavad. Simply you have to, this is Krishna consciousness movement, somehow or other you increase your attachment for Krishna. Somewhere or other. Jena dena prakarena mana Krishna nivesaya. This is Rupa Goswami's instruction. Somehow or other you become attached to Krishna. Then your life is successful. So this Krishna consciousness movement is trying to induce people how to become attached to Krishna. That is Bhakti Yoga. Jena tena prakarena mana Krishna nivesaya. Then Vidhi Nisedha, there are so many rules and regulations for Bhakti Yoga. Yes, there are. And Rupa Goswami says, Sarve Vidhi Nisedha su retayo reva kinkara. Somewhere or other, if you become attached to Krishna, then all the vidhis and regulatory principles and rules and regulations, they will act as your servant. They'll automatically, because as soon as you become attached to Krishna, Krishna says, Kiprang bhavati dharma atma. Kiprang bhavati dharma. Satsat shanti nigacchati. Kaunteya pratijani. Rame bhakta pranas. Kiprang. Very soon. Apide sudurachara. Bhajate mamanannabha. sadhureva sam. Don't think that these Europeans and Americans, they are mlechas and jamas. That is aparad, offense, because they are sadhu. They do not know. They have accepted Krishna without any hodgepodge understanding. That this is also good, this is also good, this is also good. They are strictly following the instruction of the spiritual master, Krishna Su Bhagavan. Even a small child in our association, Shamsundar's daughter, she would go to somebody, she was only 5 years old, she would ask, do you know Krishna? So somebody said, no, I do not. Oh, Supreme Personality. She would preach like that. So they are convinced, Krishna Su Bhagavan Sam. This conviction is the foremost quality. Then other things will follow. Sarve vidhi nishedashu ritayo riva kinkura. If one is simply convinced on this point that Krishna Su Bhagavan Sam, and it does like that, follows the principle that Krishnaika saran, eto savchari, varnasam dharma, Krishnaika saran, that is one, mamekam sarana. To do that, stick to this principle, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna is Paratattva, the absolute truth, and Krishna is all-pervading, maya tatamidam sadvam. Krishna is everywhere. Jagat abhakta murtina, this abhakta. The Krishna's potency is everywhere. Therefore, those who are advanced devotees, they do not see anything else than Krishna. Everywhere he sees Krishna. And that is a fact. Krishna also teaches that I am here. If you cannot conceive that Krishna is everywhere present, the Krishna personally gives you an instruction. Here I am. Rasoham apsukauntiya. Everyone is drinking water at least 4 times, 5 times. So at the time of drinking water or drinking anything, if you remember Krishna, then you become purified. Maya asakta, mana prartha. That is yoga, bhakti yoga. If you practice only this, whatever you drink something for some taste. So either you drink sarbat or water and meal or even wine. Because the Europeans, Americans, they are accustomed to drink wine. But if they follow this instruction of Krishna, that this taste is Krishna, then he remembers Krishna. Manmana bhavamad bhakta. As soon as he brings Krishna in his mind, he becomes a bhakta. So easy. Anyone can become Krishna bhakta if he follows the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. There is no difficulty. Manmana bhavamal bhakta. This is the simple process. Rasoham apsukantiya prabhasmi sasisuja. This is for ordinary class of men. But if you think that you are very advanced in learning in Vedic literature and Vedic mantras, Krishna said, Pranava sarva vedeshu. That pranavankara, Om tad Vishnum paramam padam sada pasyanti. That pranava is Krishna. Pranava sarva vedeshu. So either you become a highly learned scholar in Vedic literature, or you are simply an ordinary person. You can think of Krishna and you become successful in your life. There is no difficulty. If you are an ordinary person, every person drinks water or drinks something, let him immediately think of, as soon as he tastes, here is Krishna. Punnagandha Pratibhyanch, a flower, a rose flower, very fragrant. So as soon as you smell, you can remember Krishna. This smell is Krishna. Actually, that is Krishna. You cannot create that smell. It is Krishna. Krishna's art. That Punnagandha Pratibhyancha, that gandha, that smell, flavor is within the earth. Where from the rose is coming? From this earth. But still, the rose is so fragrant. You cannot take out the fragrance from the earth. Everything is there. Sarva kama duha mahi. Everything is within the earth. But you cannot take out. It is Krishna. Parasa Shakti Vividhaiva Sriyate Sabha Vikigyano Balakriyach. He has got this power to extract Punnagandha through the rose flower. You have no. You may be very big chemist, but you cannot do that. So in this way, if you study Krishna, if you become Krishna conscious, then your life is successful. That we are teaching. This is Krishna consciousness movement, and these shastras will help you. But even if you do not read shastra, if you always remember Krishna, impression of Krishna, the temple is made for layman. Even a woman child, if he sees daily Krishna here, then he gets impression. He can think of Krishna. Manmanam bhava bhakta. Therefore the temple is there. Everyone should come every day, every morning, or as many times as possible, and take the impression of Krishna and keep it within your core of heart. And think of Krishna, manmana bhava madbhakta, madhyajimagna, and offer a little. You don't require to study Vedanta philosophy or this or that. Because what is the purpose of Vedanta? The purpose of Vedanta is Veda isya sarvai aham eva vidya. You have to understand Krishna. So, if you simply think of Krishna, then you are greatest Vedantist. Greatest Vedanta. Veda isya sarvai. Vedanta vid, Vedanta kitcha aham. He is the compiler of Vedas. So, whatever instruction Krishna has given in the Bhagavad Gita, that is all Vedanta. The simple instruction, manmana bhava madbhakta, this is Vedanta. Rasoham apsukanta, this is Vedanta. So, to become Vedantist means to understand Krishna, follow Krishna's instruction, and be successful in your life. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So this is another wonderful lecture by Srila Prabhupada. Dear devotees, as we get so inspired by what Srila Prabhupada talks about, we want to share some of the things that are our takeaway. This is the time to unmute. You also have definitely an opportunity to ask a question if something is not clear to you, or you can also talk about the realizations from what Srila Prabhupada has preached. You connect the dots like that, and then some things become clear to us. So this is the time to unmute yourself, and if you feel so inclined, please do that. Hare Krishna. So anyone wants to start?
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Hare
Krishna.
One point that Srila Prabhupada made, and I'm really thinking about how and what it actually means, and like practically. Srila Prabhupada says that the 4 regulative principles will become our servants to help us progress in Krishna consciousness. And I'm just thinking, the way Srila Prabhupada put it is pretty interesting. Like, we just know that following the 4 regulative principles is going to help us, grow in Krishna consciousness. But at the same time, when we go through this phases of, oh, I'm missing out, I'm this and that. So I'm just trying to think is, how can we really see the four regulative principles, as your Prabhupada said, as our servants? Like practically, like, because the concept of servant is someone that does something for me, So I'm just trying to think practically is how can I look at the four principles doing something for me? I don't know if I'm making sense here, but that was a powerful statement the way Srila Prabhupada made.
Yes, that he did that, make that, he said when we become Krishna conscious, the regulated principles, all of that will become our servants, will serve us. When somebody is served, they use what it is that they're being served with. When someone is served, whatever is used to serve them, they apply that to their lives, basically. So that's the same way of saying that we will apply the regulative principles very simply and very naturally, very spontaneously. Then they become like our servants. Dhruva Maharaj, when he was leaving, before he went to Dhruvaloka, the vehicle that he boarded, that Krishna arranged for him to go, there was the personification of death. It said in the Shastra that he stepped on the head of the personification of death. The personification of death became a servant. So death was serving him. Death was not controlling him. When death controls us, we die. But Prahlad Maharaj did not die. I mean, sorry, not Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj did not die. He stepped onto the vehicle and went to Lord Vishnu's planet that was given to him, Dhruvaloka. So in that sense, death became a servant. So in this case, when we take Krishna consciousness seriously and remember Krishna in everything that we do, then naturally we become so infused with Krishna consciousness and the thoughts of Krishna that everything about Krishna, including the regulative principles, in order to connect with Krishna, will come naturally. And that is the way Srila Prabhupada was describing becoming a servant of. It's not, another way to put it is, sometimes when we start with the regulative principles being there, we struggle to try to obey them. We struggle to try to obey them. We may obey one, then two, then three, then maybe all four later. And then the desires are also there, even though we're obeying them on the physical level, but mentally the desires are still there. But when the desires are also gone, when you have full control over our lives in terms of obeying the regulative principles, then it's like the regulative principles are serving us because now we just take it as part of our lives every day. So in that sense, then it's like the rules and regulative principles are serving us. They're not controlling us anymore. Hare Krishna. At least that's my understanding of it. I don't know.
That was pretty powerful because I was just thinking, how we can really see these principles. And I was thinking even beyond the four regular principles, all our rules and regulations, the etiquette, the do's and the don'ts, the list goes on, right? It's pretty much our servants to make us a better person if we will allow them to serve us. I think is the key point. If we will allow these principles and rules and regulations and do's and don'ts and sadachar behavior, everything to be our servants, it will definitely make us a much, much better person to become more Krishna conscious. So that was a really nice way how Srila Prabhupada put it. Thank you for explaining that, Haribo.
Hare Krishna. Glories to Guru and Gauranga. Are there any other questions or takeaways or realizations that devotees want to share? If you want to, then please unmute yourself and share this wonderful discussions that we're having now. Hare Krishna. So anyone want to talk about next? Share any takeaways? While you're thinking of it, I'll share
Another
some.
point that I think that I really like Prabhupada saying is how we should really, take to Krishna consciousness, whatever it takes, just do. He was saying, that's why we have temples. I was when Prabhupada made that comment, I was remembering a quote that I saw by His Holiness Gopal Krishna Swami a few days ago, where he said that, grihastas who have home deities should also come to the temple every week. Like he says, they must go to the temple. So, so it was reminding me about Srila Prabhupada, how the temple is where we will have spiritual education. It's just like when he made that comment, I was thinking about university and college, right? Like, students go to school, go to the university to get the material education in a university, and then they come home after the classes to do their homework. Whatever they have learned in the university, they come home and they learn and they study and they apply and so on and so forth. They go back to the school again and get more knowledge. So I was thinking that is just what the temple is. The temple is where we get spiritual education for us to bring back home to learn, practice, apply, and all that, and then we come back to the temple again to get more spiritual education, and then we get the education and we come back and bring is just like a university. And that's why Prabhupada says that ISKCON is actually an educational institution. So that makes complete sense when he said that. Thank you. I was just thinking about that out loud. Haribol.
Yeah, the temple is a place where it's 100% Krishna conscious. Krishna's business is 100% done in the temple. So when we come, we connect to the temple. One of the things it does is that it helps in our sadhu sangha association. The temple is the place where you get the most devotees associating at one time. And then we can chant together. We can do artik, so many activities that some of it doesn't happen in our houses. From some people, even most of it doesn't happen in our houses or do not happen in the houses, but they happen in the temple. So the temple is an embassy of Vaikuntha. Srila Prabhupada has explained. All the business, the temple is Krishna's business. Just like in the spiritual world, everything is about Krishna's business, service to Krishna. So this is where we connect, and therefore it's important that if we have to think about Krishna always, then it also makes sense that we go to the temple as many times as possible. Sometimes more than even once in a day. Come in the morning, come in the evening, wherever we are, arrange our schedules so that we definitely connect as part of our lives as devotees, the temple, coming to the temple. It's also the place that we get to serve devotionally. More so than anywhere else, the temple gives the opportunity for devotees to serve devotionally. So definitely this is the place to congregate, and so we should join and come to the temple as much as possible, more so than that. Don't give yourself excuses, because Maya will give you excuses not to do certain things that you know you should do. So thank you for also bringing that point out, the takeaway. Then there is a text in the chat by Radhapad Prabhu. Appreciation of the lecture. He says, Hare Krishna, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories, or lots of glories to our most beloved Srila Prabhupada. This is another super duper nice class of Srila Prabhupada. This is the crystal clear philosophy and talk about Krishna consciousness. So that Srila Prabhupada has explained in this talk. Hare Krishna. So this is an appreciation of the lecture given by Srila Prabhupada. And speaking about that, I want to make an appeal. Again, you all know what your schedule is like, but all the same, the classes start just after 8 o'clock. We actually have put it It's just a little after to let people come in and be at the beginning of a class. So if you're coming in the middle of the class or towards the end of the class, you're missing out a lot. Now, of course, your own work situation may determine that you come on at certain times. That's there. But if you yourself know that you don't have that kind of block by any situation involving work, then it's on you to come sooner than later. So again, we mentioned this before, and I'll just leave it like that, and then you all can decide. But it is definitely a great idea to come to listen to the lectures and listen to Srila Prabhupada, especially on Wednesdays, as you can see here. So it's like that. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, but also, take into consideration the fact that you got to come at a decent time. Decent time means at the beginning. Any more takeaways from the devotees or questions?
I want to share something that Chandramali Swami mentioned in his class with his disciples yesterday, where Maharaj said that the more we hear, especially attending Bhagavatam classes, the more it's going to improve our chanting, is going to improve our service attitude, is going to improve our association. He said it will definitely improve our Krishna consciousness. So Maharaj was hearing, that's why Prabhupada said Shravanam. So he was saying Bhagavatam is completely Krishna. So the more we hear Bhagavatam, we come to the temple, we hear classes, he says, the more it's going to improve our chanting. I just wanted to share that from Maharaj. Haribol.
Thank you very much. To add on to it, yes, it is the listening of the lectures that improves our lives and makes us have better understanding about Krishna consciousness. Every time there is some revelation about things that we didn't know, or it's put in a certain way that makes us get a better understanding about even the things that we said we've heard before, but it's put in a way that, so that's just, you can't hear. The first thing you do is hear. Most important is to chant, but Srila Prabhupada said the first thing is to hear. So, if you're not able to hear or you missed some part of it, that's okay. It's in YouTube. You can also listen to it later on in the evening. But for those who can make it early to the beginning, please come and hear it from the beginning. Or that way you can just have your questions ready and don't miss any part. And then you can also join in and take aways, which makes it very, very interesting. Okay. Hare Krishna. So anyway, I'll have a little bit more from my own takeaways to add to this. Srila Prabhupada started a very, 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 very wonderful way. He just said that, so some people look at Devaki and say, well, Devaki Sutta Krishna. So how can he become the Supreme Personality of God? In other words, some people are thinking on a material level. And those people have confidence in the Chaturbhuja, the four-armed form. So that was used to show the Vishnu worshippers that Krishna, even though he's two-handed, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why Krishna, even being two-handed, they also refer to him as Chaturbhuja, because Chatu is four-handed. But that's still Krishna. And then Srila Prabhupada explained it a little more. It says, Vishnu is the incarnation of Krishna, not the other way around. Some people thought that Krishna is the incarnation of Vishnu. And they try to use the Shastra to support that. But actually, that's not true. That's not correct. Vishnu is an incarnation of Krishna. From Krishna comes Vishnu. And the Guna avatars of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. So, more the passion, Brahma, more the goodness, Vishnu, and more the ignorance, Shiva. But Srila Prabhupada also says that Shiva, Vishnu, they're not connected to these modes. They're not connected to these modes. Vishnu is not a product of this material world. Vishnu is Navayoganam, and in some places in the Brahma Samhita, he looks always young. He's never old. So no one is above Krishna. And there are so many descriptions of the incarnations of Vishnu. That's there. But Vyasadeva concludes, and he's the one that wrote the Vedas, that Vishnu is an expansion of Krishna. Then Srila Prabhupada began to show the expansions in order, or talk about the expansions in order. First expansion of Krishna is Balaram. Then the Chatuvyuha, which are Vasudev, Anirudh, Sankashan, and Pradyumna. Then from that Sankashan comes Narayan. Narayan expands to the second Chatuvyuha. Again, Vasudev, Anirudh, Sankashan, Pradyumna. And the Sankashan of the second set, from him comes Mahavishnu, then Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, then Shirodakshaya Vishnu, in that order. And then he made it clear, though, that all the expansions of Krishna have the same potency. But Krishna is a Paramapuman. They all have the same potency. Even give an example of Lord Ram. But Lord Ram is not less in potency than Lord Vishnu, although he's also an incarnation from Krishna. So then came to us through the gopis. He says the gopis only know Krishna. We must be attached to Krishna. Then our lives will be successful. Then all the rules and regulations will act as our servants, just like the discussion we had earlier when Sri brought it up. And then he also basically was warning those from Bhadvasha that the Europeans and Americans are, as devotees, they are not mlechas. The devotees from other countries are also devotees, just like those in India. And if anyone thinks that those from the Europe, America, the different parts of the world are not devotees, are just mlechas or yoginas, they're not aparat. That's an offense. It's funny that I was just listening to YouTube. Just my mind caught this, this person who I think it was Swami, not connected to ISKCON, and speaking and indirectly criticizing Srila Prabhupada for making devotees out of people from other parts of the world outside of India. The very thing, the very next day, and here Srila Prabhupada, we have lecture, he's saying, the Europeans and Americans who are Buddhists, they are not mlechas. If you think so, they are in fact committing an aparat. And then he gave an example of even Shamasundar's daughter. Just that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As long as they understand and they're serving and obeying the regular principles, it doesn't matter where they're from. They are devotees. And not only that, it is Lord Chaitanya himself that said that he was spreading Krishna consciousness in India, but there will come a person after him who will spread Krishna consciousness the whole world over. That happened to be Srila Prabhupada. So God himself said that Krishna consciousness will be spread all over the world, which means there will be devotees made from all over the world. Not to mention Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's vision that he was seeing people from all around the world coming to Mayapur and chanting together in congregation Jaya Sachinanda. We saw this in Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a pure devotee. So nobody should try to think of based on the body that others from outside, born outside of India, cannot be devotees. That's an aparat. That's an aparat. There are people in India who are not devotees. And there are people in other parts of the world who are not devotees. But there are people who are Indian bodied devotees and from other parts of the world who also are devotees. So he made that point. And he also said advanced devotees don't see anything but Krishna. Krishna is everywhere. And even if we begin to get our mind up thinking about Krishna all the time, then when we even taste some liquid, water especially, the taste of it is Krishna. If we think that way, we're drinking, but this taste is coming from Krishna, then we become a bhakta, one who thinks of Krishna all the time. Smelling a flower, the fragrance is from Krishna. Fragrance is Krishna. The fragrance is coming from the earth, he said, but Krishna extracts the fragrance from the earth to be present in the flower. We can't do that. The big chemists can't even do that. But Krishna can. So it is through Krishna that the fragrance of the flower is there. and it comes from the earth. Hmm? Of course, the last point is making come to the temple as much as possible. And if we think of Krishna, we become the greatest Vedantist. Hmm? So being the devotee means to understand Krishna, follow Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita, and for that matter, Srimad Bhagavatam, then of course, we'll be successful in our lives. This is how he ended. So thank you very much for all. If you want to unmute and add some more to it or ask a question, you still can. But it's close to the hour now, the top of the hour. And so we're going to end. And thank you all for coming. If I've said something that is uncomfortable with any of you, especially talking about lateness, I apologize. We're not trying to push you. We're just trying to tell you coming early is better than coming later. But again, you all know your situation at work. And if it means that it is possible to come, but come a little later than, well, that's there. You can also hear YouTube later on. But still, we got to be thinking of Krishna to the point of coming, which is great, but coming also at a decent time. Vanchakapatarubhya kripa sunibhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.